Hare Krishna, Shri Gurudev.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shri Gurudev, Dandapranam.
Sorry for this connection. No light and darkness.
Is it back now, Gurudev, or still not there?
No, now it's generated.
Oh.
Generator is working.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay, the network one is still sleeping, so can't do it at place.
This is chapter 13, verse 65. We're still in the ocean, and there's still a lot. We haven't gotten through all these icebergs yet. A few more icebergs. We're almost there. We're almost in the shore of the Vrindavan Mahimamrita by Prabhupada Saraswati. We're reading some new section now. Braj Bhajan means Raganuga Bhakti. To live in Vrindavan and perform bhajan, one will choose to reside in Vrindavan because it's so much anukulya for Raganuga Bhakti. When Rupa Goswami describes in Nectar of Devotion the 5 limbs of bhakti, most important, powerful, prema-producing limbs of the 64 limbs, he says that Bhagavat Shravan, to hear the Bhagavatam and the association of devotees is very powerful, purifying and elevating and prompt way to attain Krishna Prem. Jiva Goswami gives a commentary and he says that Rupa Goswami, he's asked me to give commentary, so his intention here is, although he's exalting the entire Bhagavatam, he actually, in between the lines, he's saying that specifically the most powerful form of bhakti in terms of hearing the Bhagavatam is to hear the 10th canto of pastimes of Krishna, especially in Vrindavan, Braja Leela. So when one focuses on the 10th canto in Braja Leela, that is of course the limb of Raganuga Bhakti. And in a similar way, there are various holy dhams. It says that one should live in Mathura Mandala Stite. One should live in Mathura Mandala. So living in Mathura Mandala is good for all kinds of bhakti. Mathura Mandala is a very vast area which includes Mathura, Vrindavan, Dwadasavan, Trasikosh, the whole Vrindavan, greater Vrindavan. But living in Vrindavan specifically means, in terms of not just, because someone might say, well, Mathura Mandala, I'll go to Mathura and do bhakti. And you can. And it's very powerful. But specifically, the followers of Raganuga Bhakti will want to live in Vrindavan, in the forest of Vrindavan. Because Vrindavan forest, the specific forest of Vrindavan includes Yamuna, Govardhan, Nandagram, Varsana, Suryakund, Radhakund, Shamakund, Sevakund, Nidhiban, Vamshivad, Rasastali, and all these key places which are anukulya for Raganuga Bhakti. And it's the first entry here we have that the sweetness of Braj is beyond the Upanishads and beyond the followers of Vaidhi Bhakti. This is chapter 1, verse 22. Chirad Upanishad Giram Mati Vicharya Tatparyakam Nalabdam Iha Shakyate Yamanu Madurim Apyaho Tamapyanu Bhaven Maharasanidhim Yad Avastatas Tadeva Paramam Mama Sprushratu Dhamma Vrindavanam. Alas, even after considering the purport of the statements of the Upanishads for a long time, one cannot obtain a tinge of transcendental sweetness. Yet simply by residing in Sri Vrindavan, one can relish the ocean of that transcendental sweetness. May that Vrindavan become manifest to us. I think it's supposed to be Spuratu Dham, Mama Spuratam. So this is saying that the sweetness of Braj is beyond the Upanishads. Beyond the Upanishads. Because someone may study the Shastras for a long time and still they won't be able to understand. Even if you read about Vrindavan, it's very difficult to perceive the sweetness of Vrindavan. Because living in Vrindavan, that's why it's so much encouraged that one should physically live in Vrindavan by Rupa Goswami and emphasized also by Sri Jiva Goswami. Why? Bhakti is bhakti, it's transcendental. But he's saying that living in Vrindavan, one gets 1,000 times the benefit for his activities. So all of his devotional practices, if he has, with the aim in mind, bhav, he wants to attain bhav. The purpose of sadhana is to attain prema. And we perform our actions in sadhana to quickly come to bhava, and which will deepen and become manifest as prema. So living in Vrindavan and practicing rag bhakti with a desire to attain Krishna prema and a focused practice, then that sweetness of Vrindavan will accelerate and enhance his success. So that he may not even study the Upanishads. He's saying here, he may, simply by residing here, maybe he doesn't study the Upanishads and other Shastras, but he lives here and he practices, he performs bhakti, then that powerful Vrindavan will enter his heart and transform him and give him the taste of that sweetness that could never be available in all the Vedic studies that one may perform for hundreds of years outside of Vrindavan. He's trying to emphasize how powerful is this Vrindavan. There's some unique power here. In different places, it's said that whatever one does here, he gets 100 times the benefit, or 1,000 times the benefit. So the benefit, we have to establish what do we want. What is the benefit we want? The benefit we want is love of God, Radha Krishna Prema. And this is a place where that's available. Everyone comes here for that. To get Krishna Prema. There's a verse by Uddhava Mahashaya, and he describes something about the power of living in Vrindavan. And we can read that verse. And he mentions something here about how it's beyond the Vedas also. It's from the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Asammaho charana renu jusham mahamsyam vrindavanekim api gomalat lato shadinam yadustyajam swajanam aryapatam chahitva bejur mukunda padavim shrutibir vimrigyam. So he's saying here that the gopis, Asammaho, the Braja Gopis have given up everything that is difficult to renounce. such as children, family, and the path of chastity. They have taken shelter of the path of prema bhakti to Sri Krishna, that is searched for but rarely attained by the Shrutis. My prayer is that I may appear as a bush, a creeper, or a blade of grass in Sri Vrindavan, and thus receive the foot dust of these gopis' lotus feet. Shruti bir vi mrigyam. He's quoting, they're searching, the Shrutis personified, the Upanishads, the Shrutis, the Smritis. The Shrutis and the Upanishads, as Vrindavan Thakur, they're searching, but they can't find, they're looking, but they can't find that prema bhakti, that Braja prema bhakti of Krishna, that the simple gopis attain by residing in Vrindavan and serving the Lord and loving the Lord. This is the power of Vrindavan, that sweetness, that intimacy is available by living here. Another verse, we can see a different translation also. If one studies the Upanishads for a long time, he will not obtain even an atomic particle of transcendental sweetness as a result of his study. On the other hand, simply by residing in Vrindavan, one will quickly be drowned in a great ocean of transcendental nectar. May that supreme abode of Sri Vrindavan become manifest within my heart. You study Upanishads for a long time, and at the conclusion of that long term of study, you feel dry, because that study is near ras. It is devoid of ras. But Vrindavan is rasadam. Ras is flowing in Vrindavan. You can study. So many Shrutis, so many great sages, rishis have studied the Upanishads inside and out and try to understand them. And then their lives are dry, or even they give up that study after some time. But someone who lives in Vrindavan and practices Rag Bhakti, serving the Lord on this path of Bhakti Marg, in whatever simple way, he experiences a type of sweetness which will enter his heart and mind and never leave. And he knows that the longer he stays here and the deeper he performs his bhajan, the sweeter and sweeter that experience will become. That's in Vrindavan. So he's emphasizing that. Vrindavan, just live here and the mercy will flow. This chapter 12:33. Sweetness in Vrindavan is beyond the Upanishads. 12:33. Premodhara guner ananya kalitam bandikritam sundaram shamam swapara panjare niyamitam chitre swayam radaya. Protungopanishad rasala varashaka stamprer durgraham vande nandita tatsaki samudayan divyaika pumskokilam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the dark-complexioned, beautiful, transcendental male cuckoo, who is not bound by the ropes of anyone, and who is certainly bound by the ropes of Sri Radha's extraordinary love, who lives on the branches of the tall, beautiful trees in the form of the Upanishads, and who is unattainable by other people, yet who gives pleasure to the gopi friends of Sri Radha. So here, of course, he's using an analogy to compare Krishna to a cuckoo. And we can see another translation. I offer my respectful obeisances to the splendid dark parrot that stays on the unreachable top branches of the tall mango tree of the Upanishads, that pleases the gopis, and that with the wonderful ropes of intense love, Radha binds that cuckoo and forces that cuckoo to bow down and pushes that cuckoo into the cage of her feet. That's quite a better translation, I should say. and quite accurate also. So we can consider this one. When you see a tree, a very tall tree, they may have fruits on the tree, but they may be way beyond the reach. You can't reach them with a ladder, and you can't climb up there because the tree itself, the main trunk is very thin, and the other branches are very thin. And if you try to climb up there, it'll crack. The tree will crack. If you go out on the limb, on the branch to try to get a fruit, then that branch will break off and you'll crash on the ground. So this fruit of Krishna Prema is so high in the Upanishads they can't reach it. Those who study the Upanishads, they can't reach it. So he's saying that here. He's saying that dark parrot, Krishna, you can study the Upanishads for eternity, but you'll just be on the lower branches somewhere. No matter how much you study, you'll never reach the higher branches, those very thin and delicate branches. Because that parrot is beyond your reach. You can't catch him. You can't throw a rope around him. Sometimes you see they capture birds with nets made of ropes. They put the net on the ground, and then the bird walks on the ground occasionally to eat something or drink something, and they pull the net and catch him in the net. This dark bird, you can't catch. He's uncatchable. So Krishna here is being compared to a dark cuckoo. And he's on the highest unreachable branches, unattainable branches of the Upanishads. In other words, the author is saying, forget it. Forget the Upanishads. We have the Gita Upanishad. They say Gita Upanishad. The Gita is the essence of all the philosophical teachings of the Upanishads. Gita Upanishad. It's considered that way, although it's not technically one of the original Upanishads. It's called Gita Upanishad. But Radharani, she's so expert that, and also the gopis, that Radharani's love is so intense that she went far beyond the Srutibir Mimrigyam. The gopis, their love is so inconceivable. Because who's speaking that verse we heard before from the Bhagavatam? That's Uddhava. He was speaking that. He says, Shrutibir Mukunda Bhajan. The gopis have come to Vrindavan and are engaging in Mukunda Bhajan for the purpose of developing Bhav and Krishna Prema. I'd say the sadhana siddha gopis. And they are trying to attain something which is unreachable by the Shrutis, Smriti Mimrigyam. Smritis and Shrutis they can't reach. And I know the Shrutis, I know the Upanishads. I am a great learned Pandit, Uddhava Mahashaya. And I couldn't figure out or understand Krishna. But when I came to Vrindavan and I saw the sweetness of the Brijvasis, and I interacted with the sweet Dham of Vrindavan, then I understood there's something extraordinary here. And the concentrated and most condensed and richest form of sweetness I saw embodied in Srimati Radharani when she displayed her Mahabhav, and Uddhava Kyari when I met the gopis to convey Krishna's message. And then I understood that all my studies of Upanishads were worthless and that I should simply pray for the mercy of the gopis, that they bless me, that I can someday, somehow, somewhere take birth in Vrindavan, Gomalata Oshadinam, as a small little berry bush or a creeper wrapped around a tree or some small shrub growing in the ground of Vrindavan. This will be my greatest perfection. And by that mercy of the gopis, dust to their feet, Charna Reno Jasham, I may be able to engage some future life after that in Mukunda Bhajan, Bejur Mukundam, Mukunda Bhajan. So this is the sweetness that's available in Vrindavan, Mukunda Bhajan. And that's the type of bhajan the gopis are doing. And Radharani's love is so intense that forget about climbing up the tree of the Upanishads and attaining that unreachable fruit in the top branches. Forget about trying to capture that cuckoo bird, that black cuckoo bird, perched on the upper branches of the Upanishads. Impossible. But Radharani, she didn't even climb the tree of the Upanishads. She didn't even shake it. Some people, they can't climb a tree to get the fruit, so they shake it. They shake the tree, and the flowers fall off. You try to climb the tree to get the flowers, and the branches will break, especially a champak tree. Champak tree or a parijat tree, very fine, thin branches. You try to climb the branches, you can't do that. You can't get the flowers and fruits, so you shake the tree. And all the fruits go tom 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 tom. We see that in Krishna's pastimes, that they would go out, the boys would go out and play together, and then they would see some tree that would have so many fruits, and then Krishna would sit under that tree. Then the tree would understand that Krishna, Yogamaya would understand that Krishna was hungry, he wanted to eat some of those mangoes. And then Yogamaya would arrange those branches of the tree, being fully conscious devotees, they would very high, tall branches, they would bend all the way down with their heavily laden fruits and just appear right in front of Krishna's face. And he would just reach out his hand and he would take off the mango and eat it. And then Madhavamangala would say, "Oh, those mangoes look so good." And then Krishna would let go of the branch and the branch would go up again. And then Madhavamangala couldn't get any mangoes. And Madhavamangala would say, "Krishna, Krishna, I want some mangoes." And then Krishna told Madhu, he said, "Just ask the mango to come to you. I simply thought of the mango and it came to me." So Madhu sat there thinking. He said, "Nothing's happening." And Balaram and the boys were laughing. So then Balaram came over and he wrapped his arms around that mango tree and he gave it a shake. And hundreds of mangoes popped down and landed on the ground. And some of them fell on the head of Madhavamangala also. And then he made a funny face and complained against Balaram, who gave him all those wonderful fruits which he desired. And all the boys laughed heartily at the incident. Ananda Kanda Bhagavan ki jai. So Radharani, without even climbing the tree or even shaking it like Balaram, she was able to call that black that black cuckoo, from way up in the unreachable branches, call him down, say, "Hey, cuckoo, hey coil, ow, come here." So that coil came all the way down from the toppy branches to the ground and bowed down, and then Radharani tied up that bird. When the bird is on the ground, they catch with a rope or sometimes they have a rope and they have a little knot in the end, a little special knot, and the bird is walking, they pull it and they catch him by the foot with the rope, and then they pull him closer. So Radharani has caught Krishna by the head and now he bowed down at her feet, and then when that bird fell at her feet, then Radharani pushed that bird's head into the golden cage of her lotus feet. And this is how Radharani binds Krishna with her love. So the only way to bind that parrot is not by Upanishadic studies, is not by studying Shrutis or Smritis. The only way to bind that parrot is with the pure love, Braja Prem, Gopika Prem, Radha Prem. That can happen in Vrindavan. One can come to Vrindavan and serve Radharani and worship Radharani, and by her mercy, as Prabhupada said, one place he said, devotees in Vrindavan, they take shelter of Radharani. Because by taking shelter of Radharani, one can attain Krishna very soon. Grunamayi Radha. Of course, without the mercy of Nityananda and Gauranga, the shelter of Vrindavan and Radha and Krishna is impossible. But the surrendered Gaudiya Vaishnavas coming in the line of Lord Chaitanya, they are heirs to the wealth. They inherit the wealth of Nityananda's mercy. And with that wealth of Nityananda's kripa and mercy, then they can worship Radharani and Vrindavan. Along with Krishna, obviously. Chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, worship Giri Govardhan and Gaur Nitai. And someday the mercy of Radharani will descend upon all of them. And then they will see that black cuckoo standing before them with a peacock feather in his hair. Very unusual. Cuckoo with a peacock feather in his hair. It's kind of a hybrid cuckoo peacock. So let's see about some other verses here. This is 1258. 1047-61. 10th canto, Brahmar Gita. 47 is Brahmar Gita, Song of the Bumblebee. Radharani's Udgorna and Chitrajalpa, Chitrajalpa and Udgorna, Ecstasies of Mahabhav. This verse is there. Bejur Mukunda Padavim Shutibir Vimrigyam. Prabhupada also quotes it in his verse book. 1047-61. Very powerful and important verse to understand position of Vrindavan and the high position of the Braja Gopis, especially Radharani. This is 1258. Mahananda Syaisha Paratara Chamatkara Paravi Mahapriter Atyudbhutta Sananer Esha Sukhamayi Mahodarsh Daryaishvarayadika Parama Nishto Panishadam Mahaguptam Vitam Yad Udayati Vrindavanam Idam. This is more about the Upanishads. The abode of Vrindavan is a supremely wonderful platform of great ecstasy. Vrindavan is the most joyful path for achieving love of God. Vrindavan is the ultimate limit of all generosity, magnanimity, and opulences. And Vrindavan is the secret wealth of all the Upanishads. The secret wealth. Mahaguptam Vitam. Vita means wealth. The greatest secret wealth is Udayati, rising in Vrindavan. See another translation. 1258. Vrindavan is the wonderful path that leads to intense transcendental bliss. Vrindavan is the wonderful and blissful path that leads to deep transcendental love. Vrindavan is the highest point of opulence and generosity. Vrindavan is the secret treasure hidden in the Upanishads. So, you may search for a treasure very diligently and spend lots of time and not find it. Because it's buried. It's a buried treasure. Your father has 1,000 acres of property. And when he died, he said, I just tell you one thing, my son. I buried my treasure, all my gold and jewels, in some place in my property. And then he dies. And the son knows he's very wealthy, and there's truth obviously in his words. Now he has the task to figure out, where is that treasure buried? There's 1,000 acres in my father's estate. So then he starts looking and going, digging here and there and here and there and everywhere. Will he ever find the treasure before he dies? Or will he die in the pursuit of that treasure? So the analogy here is like the Upanishads. The Upanishads are like 1,000 acres of land. And Vrindavan is that rare treasure box. You may, for example, someone may study Isopanishad. We've heard of Isopanishad. But Mayavadis also study the Upanishads. So many Mayavadis. And directly you won't see, if you read the verses of Isopanishad, you won't see, this is an Upanishad, you're not going to see anywhere where it directly shows the treasure of Vrindavan. We know Om Purnamadam Purnamidam, these verses are familiar to all of us. And we can read some of those verses from the Isopanishad. Prabhupada often speak on Isa Upanishad, and it was one of the first early books that he published. We can read some verses. Let's see if we can find, does it tell us that Vrindavan is the conclusion of the Upanishads? Om Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. The personality of God, it is perfect and complete. And because He is completely perfect, all emanations from Him, such as this phenomenal material world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because He is a complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from Him, He remains a complete balance. I don't find Vrindavan very clearly mentioned there. The sweet treasure of Vrindavan does not come out of this verse very easily. Ishavasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunjita madgridha kasya swidanam. Everything animate or inanimate within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. We can see Radhakund there, or maybe Govardhan, Vamshivat. I don't think so. Mantra 2. Kurvan eveha karmani jijivekshek chatam sama evam tvai nanyatetosti na karma lipyate nare. This is the second shloka from Isha Upanishad. I read the invocation, the Mangala Charana, the verse 1. This is verse 2. One may aspire to live for hundreds of years if he continuously goes on working in that way, for that sort of karma will not bind him to the law of karma. There is no alternative to this way for man. Asurya namate loka andena tamasavrita tamste pretyabi gachchanti ye ke chatma hano jana. The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. And I'll read some other verses and say the English. The Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He is far away, but He's very near to all. He is within everything, and He's outside of everything. He's swifter than the mind, and can run faster than everyone else. Powerful demigods cannot approach Him. Although He's situated in one place, He controls everything, including the rain. One who sees all living entities as parts and parcels of the Lord, and sees the Lord within everything, never hates anything or any being. One who always sees all living entities as spiritual sparks, yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaivabud vijanata tatrako moha kashoka ekatvam anupashyata. In quality, one with the Lord becomes a true knower of things. What then can be illusion or anxiety for him? I don't find so much here about Vrindavan. It seems about this world and karma and seeing God here. Let this temporary body be burnt to ashes. Let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. Oh, my Lord, please remember all my sacrifices. And because you are the ultimate beneficiary, please remember all that I have done for you. These are some of the later verses. Well, let's read the last verse of Isa Upanishad and see if we can find Radhakund there, or Vrindavan. Agnenaya supata rayasman vishvani deva Payunani vidvan Yudyodya smaj juhoranam enau bhuyishtam te nama uktam videma. O my Lord, as powerful as fire, O omnipotent one, Now I offer you all obeisances, falling on the ground at your feet. O my Lord, please lead me on the right path to reach you. And since you know all that I have done in the past, please free me from the reactions to my past sins, so there will be no hindrance to my progress. So this is the Ishopanishad, and we don't find so much indication here about Vrindavan. And let's look at some of the other Upanishads, since that's what the premise is, that one can go through all the Upanishads and not find the secret treasure that's available in the land of Vrindavan. There's so many Upanishads. We read the secret wealth of all the Upanishads. It's such a secret. This is actually the wealth, is Vrindavan. Aitreya Upanishad. He glanced over the material creation. Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. I am spirit. Aham Brahmasmi. Chandogya Upanishad. Sarvam Kavidam Brahma. Everything, both matter and spirit, is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the Supreme Brahman. Another Chandogya Upanishad. Tadakshata Bahusyam. Prabhupada oftentimes he quotes this, Eko Bahusham. From one came many. And now Kalya Santarana Upanishad. Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan Atmasya Jantur Nihito Guhayam. Both the super soul and the atomic soul are situated in the same heart of the living entity. And how about the Kata Upanishad? Nayamatma Pravajanena Labhyo Namedaya Na Bahana Shutena Yameva Brinute Tena Labhyas Tasyaish Atma Vivrinte Tanum Swam. The Supreme Lord is not attained by expert explanations, by vast intelligence, or even by much hearing. He is attained only by one who he himself chooses. To such a person he manifests his own form. Then the Mundaka Upanishad. Yasmin vigate sarvam evam vigatam bhavati. If one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the controller of all controllers, one can understand everything else. In other words, if you know God, if you know Krishna, you know everything. He's Swayam Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if you know the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you know everything that's possible to be known. So we can hear from this smattering of Upanishadic quotes, we don't find too much about Vrindavan. I think the closest thing what we can find here in the quotes before us is from Taittiriya Upanishad. This was an Upanishad spoken by some birds. Taittiriya is a type of bird, the Titiba bird. It's like, I think sparrows, a type of sparrow. Taittiriya Upanishad. So some birds spoke this. Maybe they were from Vrindavan in previous life, can't say. What did they say? Rasovai Saha. Rasovai Saha. So the argument here, Prabhupada Saraswati is saying in this verse 1258 is, the abode of Vrindavan is the most joyful path for achieving love of God. Vrindavan is the ultimate limit of all opulences and generosity, and the secret wealth of all the Upanishads. As I mentioned, you can search the 1,000 acres of the Upanishads to try to find that buried treasure box, and you may not find it. But Taittiriya Upanishad, this verse, Rasovaisaha, gives us some flavor of Vrindavan. Rasaraj Sri Krishna. He is Ras, and this is Rasadam, Raslila. Vrindavan is that, when Rasavaisa means that Rasaraj Sri Krishna. Well, Rasaraj, where is he relishing that Ras? Oh, he's Rasaraj, he so much relishes Ras. Well, where? And Rasadam, where is Rasadam? Vrindavan. Vrindavan. And where in Vrindavan does he relish the greatest mixture of sweet rasas in the rasa mandala and rasa lila. And where does he relish the sweetest of the expressions of Parakya Madhurya Bhav with the gopis? That's in Radha Kund. Let's read another verse. 1259, not far away. This book is 1,000 different ways to say Vrindavan's great. There's so many verses, I don't remember exactly how many. I think there's 2,000 or so, can't remember. And they're all about the same point. They're all about one thing, Vrindavan. The nectarian glories of Vrindavan. 1259, this point under discussion is the Shastras, the sweetness of Braj is beyond the Upanishads and Vaidhi Bhakti. Because the followers of Vaidhi Bhakti in general, the Vishnu Bhaktas and Ram Bhaktas, they very much study Upanishads and other literatures. But let's just say the Upanishads, Vrindavan is the ultimate secret of the Upanishads. Ye sam swadya shrutigam amritasyandi Vrindavaneti prema vishta param ati raso danchi romancha punja murcham apur niravari mahananda samdrabdi linas te ta kim vayameha hata nama vavaika sangha. Those exalted devotees who would become completely absorbed in ecstatic love while relishing the topmost nectar that is aspired for by the personified Vedas in the sweet land of Vrindavan. Those advanced devotees display symptoms of ecstatic love, such as hair standing on end. And those devotees, they lose consciousness due to emerging in a deep ocean of transcendental bliss. But they have all left now, and I cannot find them here in Vrindavan. Alas, are we not unfortunate to live here now? Because when Prabhupada, this is a entry from his heart's diary, because he was writing this book as he lived in Vrindavan 400 and some years ago. And at the time when Prabhupada Saraswati came to Vrindavan, all the great devotees had already entered the Nitya Leela. So he's feeling their separation. Jayanila Premadana. Harinam is like, how's it go? Jayanila Premadana. Karuna Prachur. Jayanila Premadana Karuna Prachur. There's that wealth of love that's embodied in all those great devotees. Where are they now? I can only smash my head. I can't live without them. I don't want to think about their absence. I'd rather smash my head on a rock than bear the intolerable pain of their separation. This prayer is there, lamenting for where's my Kaviraj Goswami gone? Where's my Rupa Goswami gone? Where's my Sanatana Goswami gone? Where's my Jiva Goswami gone? This Narottam is lamenting. The Vilap, Vaishnava Vilap, in separation from the great liberated Premi Bhaktas of Vrindavan. Similarly, we modern day residents of Vrindavan, we have also met many great devotees over the past 25 years that were residents of Vrindavan and sometimes would bless us with their darshan or shiksha, but they are not here anymore. So how much unfortunate we feel to live here now. That's what he's saying. Of course, it's fortune, a great fortune to live in Vrindavan and serve Guru and Krishna and Vaishnavas. But that fortune is enhanced and relished in a much more profound and intimate and sweet way in the association of Siddha Mahatmas and advanced devotees. So when they leave one's vision and one can no longer hear their precious instructions flowing in on the pathway of their ears, then they lament and sorrow and separation. So this is the mood of this verse, 1259. Have the great souls whose ears drank the nectar flowing in Vrindavan, have those great souls who were immersed in pure love, have those great souls whose bodily hair stood up, and have those great souls who would sometimes faint in ecstasy, and who were plunged in the boundless ocean of intense transcendental bliss, have all these great souls left us? Now we are dead and can associate only with their names. Vrindavan Mahimamrita. So we've gone from Navadvip to Mayapur, from Navadvip to Vrindavan. 2 rooms in the same house of devotion. 2 compartments of Prema Bhakti. The Audarya compartment and the Madhurya department. Audarya carries us to Madhurya. Madhurya imbues us with a desire to distribute the Madhurya. Then we go to the Audarya. The Audarya, and while distributing we relish the Madhurya, then we go to the Madhurya. So the boat is traveling on 2 sides of the river, sometimes on the Madhurya sweet side and sometimes on the sweet distribution side. Navadvip is a side of sweet distribution, and Vrindavan is a side of the river of sweet relishment. This is the Bhakti Dhara, Prema Bhakti Dhara, the current or river of pure love. And we're traveling on a boat on that river, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Audarya and Madhurya. They go side by side. One side of the river is there, the bank, one side is there. The 2 banks of the river are traveling side by side. The river is in the middle, the 2 banks. Wherever one bank is, the other bank is, where the river is. So one bank is Audarya, one bank is Madhurya. You're in Navadvip, then Vrindavan. You're in Vrindavan, then Navadvip. Can't but be. So we're discussing how Braj Bhajan means Raganuga Bhakti, and this particular point is how the sweetness of Braj is beyond the Upanishads. This is chapter 12, verse 62. Re muda gudam akilopanashat saghada premnavagadam akilarta shiro didrudham ananda sindhum anapashraya dinabandhum vrindavanam braja hatat kalitatma bandha. O foolish people, forcibly destroy your material bondage and proceed immediately towards Vrindavan, which is confidential to the Upanishads. It's Re Mudha Gudam Akila Upanishad Swagada. It's attained by intense love, Swagada Prem, which is a crest jewel among all objectives of life, which is the ocean of bliss. Vrindavan, in other words, Vrindavan is the crest jewel among all objectives of life. Vrindavan is the ocean of bliss. And Vrindavan is the supreme shelter. And Vrindavan is the friend of the poor. Vrindavanam brajahatat kalitatma bandha. Fool, cut your bonds and go to Vrindavan, which is a great secret hidden in the Upanishads. Gudam Akila Upanishad is that it's the great Akila, I guess you can say Akila Gudam means great secret, which is deeply Vrindavan, which is deeply plunged into pure transcendental love. Ananda Sindhunam. Then, which Vrindavan is the crown jewel of all goals of life, Vrindavan is the ocean of transcendental bliss. That's easy to see. Ananda Sindhum, and which is the friend of the poor and shelterless. Kalitatma. I guess Kalitatma Bandha means poor and shelterless. Forcefully destroy your material bondage. Yeah. Hatat means like sledgehammer. Vrindavan is like a sledgehammer for Maya. Take shelter of Vrindavan as a serious sadhaka, then Vrindavan becomes a sledgehammer in your hand to smash the face of Maya. Mugdha, there's those verses by Shankaracharya we mentioned the other day. Mugdha Hatar or something. 10 verses against illusion, foolishness. One of them is Naristanabhari Navidesha. Trusvamagamo Vesha. We mentioned that the other day. Hatora, sledgehammer against mugdha, illusion. And we say Krishna is sarvagya and vimugdha. He's all-knowing and he's forgetful. Vimugdha means forgetful, foolish, stupid. He's sarvagya. He's all-knowing and he's vimugdha, completely forgetful. This is the paradoxical nature of God. He knows everything and becomes bewildered. Mugdha. Mugdha Hatoram, the verse is to smash bewilderment. Don't be bewildered. 58-62. Now, this is the next verse here. Is new category. Shastras are not required. 11-108. Shri Vrindavana Mahima Nahi Manasam Anyagami Me Kurute Tasmin Shastravakya Buddha Muda Badira Gita Rangava. O intelligent persons, the glories of Vrindavan do not allow my mind to go anywhere else. So your explanations on the scriptures appear to me as useless as playing music to the deaf. Badira Gita. Playing music to the deaf. No intelligent person. Vrindavan Mahima. Shri Vrindavan Mahima. Manasam Anyagami Mekura. My mind, Anyagami, it won't go anywhere else. It's stuck on Vrindavan. It's a good place to be stuck. Mentally and physically. Oh, I got stuck in Vrindavan, I couldn't get out. Oh, very good. There was heavy fog, no trains were going, the planes were cancelled, I was stuck for 3 days, I had to cancel all my programs. I was forced to take darshan of Banki Bihari every day, and Radhesham, Radharaman. Oh, it was terrible. So these things happen. I was stranded in Vrindavan. There was this airport strike, and the airport was closed, I couldn't fly. Oh, it was terrible. So this is the greatest blessing anyone could ever have. So he's saying, my mind, anyagami me kurute. My mind, manasam anyagami me kurute. My mind won't go anywhere. We should pray to the author, Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur, that, oh Prabhupada Saraswati, oh Saraswati Thakur, your mind is manasam anyagami. It won't go anywhere else but Vrindavan. But my mind is something different. My mind goes everywhere but Vrindavan. So you and I are quite opposite. I am poor, you are rich. So of course you won't beg me for my poverty because it's useless to you. But I can beg you for some donation of wealth because that will be useful to me. So I am a poverty-stricken sadhaka, wretched, fallen, low and mean. So I'm begging you because you're Mora Vrindavan Mana Vrindavan Mora. There's that verse Vaitacharya told Lord Chaitanya when he thought he had gone and traveled to the Yamuna and had arrived in Vrindavan, and he found he was on the Ganga and he arrived at Shantipur. And Lord Chaitanya said, what is this? You kidnapped me, you take me to Shantipur. He said, no, your mind is always Vrindavan. Wherever you are is Vrindavan. So Lord Chaitanya was the same way. His mind never left Vrindavan. So if someone tries to give very wonderful Shastravakya of the Shastras, then might as well go to the house of the deaf and play a violin, because they won't hear it. And I can't hear you telling you about Gyan and Karma and Yoga and Swarga and Mukti and Dharma and Arth and Kam Moksha. I don't know what you're saying. I can't hear it. Doesn't mean anything. So why waste your time? I'm stuck. I'm simply absorbed and I've been captivated and enchanted, and my mind has been stolen by the glories and sweetness of Vrindavan. I can't budge an inch from this place. So take your music and go play to the deaf. Enough of your Shastras. My mind does not go anywhere to any other place than the glories of Vrindavan. O learned scholars, your commentaries on the scriptures are all in vain. I am deaf to your every word. That's a little more interesting. It's more connected, tighter translation. I am deaf to your every word. This category of Shastras are not required. Chapter 12, verse 3. The underlying current of the author in these verses is a type of fanaticism. He's a Vrindavan fanatic. Some people say, I left my heart in Vrindavan. They have a t-shirt. But Prabhupada Saraswati, he wears a shirt, I went crazy about Vrindavan. No, he has a t-shirt that says, I'm crazy about Vrindavan. You left your heart in Vrindavan, but you're in Bombay. You left your heart in Vrindavan, but your senses are in Delhi. Your body and senses are in Delhi, busy enjoying Indriya Sukh. But your heart's in Vrindavan. Your heart's in a good place. Yeah, his heart's in a good place. They have phrases like that. His heart's in a good place, but his mind is in the garbage can. So this is the essence of this book: is that I'm crazy about Vrindavan. That's Prabhupada Saraswati's t-shirt. Fanatically crazy. And if you associate with this book and hear it enough, then I'm afraid I should forewarn all the listeners of these classes. It's danger. It's a warning from the karmic Surgeon General. Surgeon General of Karma has warned that hearing about Vrindavan from the mouth of Prabhupada Saraswati may be very dangerous to your material health. May destroy your sojourn in the samsara and send you soaring to the land of Vrindavan to enter the land of Prem once and for all, never to return and never to be heard of again. This is written right on the front of the book. It's called a statutory warning. Statutory warning. Excuse me, listen. Verse 3. Alam te shastro ger api suviditer vyaktavachaner. Mahadbish chalam te yahya na vido vetya nigira. Alam cha sabiyur ati parama durga prasaraner. Anashankam Vrindavana Bhuvi Nivasam Kuru Sakhe. O friend, there is no need to study many scriptures. There is no need for the instructions of great personalities who have no knowledge about Sri Vrindavan. And there is no need to create a vast network of arguments. One should simply reside in Vrindavan without any anxiety. Haribo. That's an inviting translation. Enough with books. Enough with garrulous philosophers who cannot understand Vrindavan. Enough with the tangled nets of logic. Give up all doubts and reside in Vrindavan. A much more hard-hitting translation. So all the talks of these philosophers and mundane wranglers of Shastra, it's simply like childish, trivial talk, and I don't want to hear it. I have no doubts. Why do I have to hear from you? Why do I have to read this Shastra, not Shastras? I know that Vrindavan is the perfection of life and the means to perfection, and it's everything. It's eternal. And by living here, I'll become perfect, eternal, and realize the goal of life. What more? Haribol, Nitai Gaur. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Through Dham Seva, chant, Sadhu Sangha, go back to Godhead. Simple package. Verse 1247. Chidvantare ham mamakara ghadha grantim nimila yakshiti sambramena mudadishanto shrutimoli gudam vrindatavim masta vichara natra. Chidvantare ham mamakara ghadha grantim nimilakshyati sambramena mudadishanto shrutimoli gudam Vrindatavim masta vichara natra. Even foolish people destroy the strong knots of I and mine and take shelter with awe and reverence of Vrindavan, which is confidential even to the Vedas. There is no need for further consideration in this regard. So again, this heading is called Shastras are not required. Obviously, fools cannot understand the Shastras. First of all, the Shastras are in Sanskrit, and they're written in sutras and codified language, which is extremely difficult to unravel and discern the meaning therein. Fools can't even read Sanskrit, what to speak or pronounce it, or understand the vocabulary, or the nuances and hidden flavors of meaning. Most of the Shastras are written in a style of language called Parokshavad. Parokshavad means indirect, implied meanings, indirect meanings, not straightforward, not clear, not patent. They're not newspapers. They're Shastras. So without a guru, and without sufficient training in Vyakaran and Kavi and Sahitya, grammar, Sanskrit grammar and poetry and literature, one has a great difficulty in understanding Shastra. But even then, and it's said, without Gyan there's no mukti. This is what the Shastras teach. Without Gyan one cannot get free from the moha of jana, janasya moho yamahamameti. The mahamameti mo, the illusion and covering and enchantment of I and mine. I and this body, and this world is mine, and these people are mine, and these things are mine. So this is the greatest illusion, ahamameti. This is what makes a fool. And Shastras give the light, the knowledge, the Shastra Chakshu. They give the knowledge by which we can see through this illusion of false identities, and these illusory designations, and rise to the plane of self-realization where one realizes I'm not the body. Then Shastras give Gyan, and Gyan gives knowledge. And knowledge means to realize Aham Brahmasmi. There's no Ahamameti. I am Brahman. That's my Aham. And I am part and parcel of the Supreme Brahman. Amcho jiva lauke jiva bhuta sanatana maya shastrani indrani prakriti stanika arshati. I'm a amsha. I'm a part and parcel, eternal spiritual particle of consciousness, part and parcel of the Supreme Consciousness. The Supreme Param Brahman, Sri Krishna, Bhagavan. And then, that's what the Shastras give, that transcendental knowledge to lead one to moksha and liberation, beginning with I'm not the body. That's the Vedanta. That's Vedanta, Aham Brahmasmi. But the author is saying that even fools that don't know Vedanta and don't know the Shastras, and are absorbed in I and mine consciousness, if they simply take shelter, just live here and serve here and worship here and honor here with respect and honor. Even fools can show respect and honor. This is the quality in the Vedic society of the Shudras. The Shudras are considered the lower class, the less intelligent, the laborers, the legs of the social body. the laborers, and they're considered somewhat foolish and unintelligent. But they have the quality of respect and reverence for the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas who are above them, and whom they are humbly serving in a cooperative relationship of master and servant based on the center of God consciousness and moksha, which is a common goal to all the varnas and all the ashrams in the Vedic society. They all share the common goal. It's all the helping and pushing and pulling each other towards that goal, irregardless of their social or spiritual status or caste or position in the social paradigm of Vedic paradigm. So they had this respect. So even a fool can have the quality of awe and reverence. He's respectful. When the king comes, he stands up, folds his hands. He's respectful, he's reverent. So come to Vrindavan, and if we're all fools, we're all in this concept of I and mine. Simply be respectful and reverential towards Vrindavan. That alone will reveal everything. We don't have to consider anything more in this regard. We can read another translation of this. It's quite interesting to see these two translators, how they view this. Fools around here. Everywhere, again, this word is there. Mudha, mudha, mudha. So we can find our name in these verses. Our name is being mentioned here in many verses. Mudha, mudha, mudha. Fool, stupid, wretch, rascal. Mudha. I remember when we first joined ISKCON in Los Angeles and we heard certain words and they became part of the ISKCON lingo. And the devotees would use these words with each other and only we would understand it. And it was a very common word that if someone did something foolish, then your leader, Sankirtan leader, temple president, you mudha. Of course, in India you know some of these words in Hindi and Sanskrit, you have some familiarity, but we only knew a few words of Sanskrit, and this is one of the first words you learn right away. As soon as you join, as a bhakta, the bhakta leader, the kitchen in charge when they're cutting vegetables or the Sunday feast, he says, "You mudha! Now, why'd you burn the chapatis? Or you dropped the flour on the floor? You mudha, stupid, nonsense, mudha!" And then you say, "What's a mudha?" And he says, "Means means ass." "Oh, you call me ass?" Step outside. Fool! Cut the tight knot of mind in the heart. Close your eyes to this foolishness and quickly go to Vrindavan, which is hidden even from the Upanishads, the crest jewel of Vedas. Don't stop to think. Don't stop to think. Let's see if we find that in the verse. Masti vicharan atra. Amoliguna, Shruti. That's obvious. These hidden from the Shrutis. Deshantu? Deshantu. Shantu means run? No. What means run? Sambramena, I guess. Sambramena. Move with everything you got. Brahmati. Brahmena means move, no? Brahmena, so some Brahma means complete movement. Get everything moving. Shake, rattle, and roll. Get your engine in gear. Run to Vrindavan. That's what he's saying. Some Brahmena. So this verse is saying that Vrindavan is a secret, it's confidential. You can't find the Upanishads. And yesterday we were reading various verses from the Upanishads, remember? Taittiriya Upanishad, Isa Upanishad, Katha Upanishad. Several verses. And we didn't find anywhere any hint or any mention of Vrindavan, indirectly or directly, except in one, which I believe was Taittiriya Upanishad, which was spoken by some birds. Taittiriya is Titaba birds, which I believe are sparrows, type of sparrow, which I mentioned, called Taittiriya Upanishad, spoken by, some sages that took the form of birds or whatever it was spoken by, because Taittiriya means birds, Taittiriya. And in that particular verse from the Upanishads, we get some indication from Vrindavan because it says, Rasuvai Saha. That which is Ras, or he which is Ras, Rasaraji Krishna. So this is Vrindavan, which is the place of Ras Leela. So we can find, but that's very hidden, and it can be taken in so many other ways, which it certainly is, by all the Mayavadi commentaries of Upanishads. So basically, it is a fact, and it remains a fact, that Vrindavan is confidential even to the Vedas. Gita Upanishad, we mentioned that it's glorified as an Upanishad, but it actually isn't one of the 12 listed as one of the 12 major Upanishads. Kena Upanishad, Katu Upanishad, Mundaku Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, Isa Upanishad. Those are the main ones. And the Gita is not listed there, Bhagavad Gita, because it's much later book. But in glorification, generally Acharyas will often call it Gita Upanishad. Because what is told in all the Upanishads, the essence of that is in the Gita. There's Karma, Jnana, and Bhakti there. Of course, with the proper commentaries and understandings, even Bhagavad Gita is describing Vrindavan. Especially glaringly so in 18th chapter and the 65th verse. Because basically Krishna is in consonance with Vrindavan Das Thakur, Prabhupada Saraswati is seeing eye to eye with Bhagavad Gita, although he's castigating and relegating the Upanishads to insignificance by saying Vrindavan is confidential, simply run there. But another way to look at it is Prabhupada Saraswati is very much agreeing with the Gita Upanishad, because Krishna in the Gita Upanishad, which is not really an Upanishad but thought of that way, he says, Sarvadharman pratyaja mamekam sharanam braja. Krishna is saying, drop everything, forget everything, and run to Vrindavan. So Krishna is telling the same thing in Gita. Sarvadharman pratyaja means to drop everything, throw everything away, forget about it. Forget I, mine, everything. I am this, I am that, mine, she's mine, this, that. Forget it all. Forget your dharma, ashram, varna, duty, bhuti, kuti, tuti, fruti, muti and maruti. And then run to Vrindavan. Because then everything will happen. I will become, you only have one thing, it's me. You only have one thing, because when you run to Vrindavan, you have nothing. You have nothing but your skin on your back. You left everything, but you have your skin on your back, and you get there, and Krishna says, Mamekam Sharanam Braja. He says, Krishna Sharanam Mama. He says, I'm your shelter. Eka Sharanam. Eka Sharanam means Krishna Sharanam Mama. He says, Eka Sharanam Mama. This verse of Bhagavad Gita is the basis of Vallabhacharya's, their Mahamantra. Their mantra is that. Krishna, what is it called? Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama. So that's nice, and it has a nice sing-songy sound, and we think that's singing song, and then other people hear us chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare. That's also a sing-song. But it's a song that we sing, and we're happy we do. And by doing that, we live eternally with the boy is blue. We're discussing the Vraja Bhajan means Raganuga Bhakti. And we're discussing these verses about Shastras not required. This category, there's several verses where Vrindavan Thakur is saying, for Raganuga Bhajan or Vraja Bhajan, Shastras are not required. So of course that obviously needs some explanation. But he gives several verses to show what's he's trying to emphasize here. Where Shastras are required, there are guidebooks, there are life and soul, there are teachers, there are liberators, they sweeten us. Shastras, what do Shastras do for us? They teach us, they show us, they purify us, they elevate us, and they sweeten us. We become sweet by associating with Madhura Katha. And these are what Shastras do. So, of course, Shastras are essential at every step of the game, from the time of being a bhakta to be a sadhaka, and a bhakta to become a siddha bhakta or siddha devotee. Shastras are part and parcels of our life. If we breathe, then we have Shastras. If we breathe, then we chant Hare Krishna. If we breathe, we worship Guru Vaishnava, Guru Hari and Vaishnavas, Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. But he's comparing Shastras to Braj Bhajan. So the title, this whole section here is called Braj Bhajan, means Raganuga Bhakti. And these subsections, we have about 10 of them, is that Shastras are not required. 1296. Veda Kedaya Nana Sarinam Anusarad Vakya Jalam Vahanta Santak Satapti Shantye Namama Hari Rasai Kashaya Dandahasya Shotam Smartam Chayat Saranam Iha Kalayan Sarametat Vivrudham Ha Brindaranya Radharati Bhavana Mam Alambanam Syastvam Sya. Through various types of word jugglery, the Vedas create only doubts. Saintly persons cannot properly pacify my burning heart because they are interested only in love for Hari. I find only contradictions among the processes of sadhana. In other words, the sadhus who are studying the various shastras, they want mukti. Where mukti? Vishnu mukti, the Vaishnava sadhus. They want Hari mukti, they want to go to Haridam. Haridam is Vishnu Dham, Vaikuntha Prapti. Dharma, art, kam, moksha. Moksha means, Vaikuntha moksha means prem. Vaikuntha prem means Aishvarya, opulence, Sharsti, Samipya, proximity, enjoy wonderful celestial divine pleasure. So they're only interested in Hari Prem. But I'm talking about Braj Bhajan and Radha Prem and Krishna Prem, Gopi Prem. I find only contradictions among the various processes of sadhana described both in the Shrutis and Smritis. Therefore, O Vrindavan, O abode of Sri Radha's lover, Radharati Bhavana, Ha Vrindaranya Radharati Bhavana, Mavalambanam, my alambanam, Syastama. You are my only shelter. Vrindavan is the place of Radha and Krishna, Bhas. Vrindavan is the place of gopis, Bhas. Vrindavan is the place where no one knows Sanskrit, Bhas. Everyone speaks Braj Bhasha. And everyone loves Krishna. Why they love Krishna, they don't know. Someone says, "Oh Gopi, why do you love Krishna?" He's beautiful. He's charming. He's sweet. But where do you find all this in the Shastra? What is your basis of your love? What is your sadhana? My sadhana? Oh, you're asking me my process of sadhana. Oh, I churn yogurt in the morning. Achha. That's your Suve Bhajan. I churn yogurt and I make butter, makan, and then Krishna comes at my house, breaks in and steals it. And I, Pakarosham, I catch him by the hand and I pull his ear and he looks at me and I let him go and say, "Oh, don't do that again." And I start laughing and I go and I start licking up all the footprints on the floor. I get down on my hands and knees and those little footprints where he ran out of my house and they're all butter stained floor and all the makan, that beautiful fresh makan, I bow down on my hands and knees and I lick up every footprint of Shyam, of Gopal. And after I do that, I go unconscious in ecstatic love. This is my Vatsalya Sadhana Bhajan. Vatsalya Rati Sadhana Bhajan. And then this Durvasa Muni says, "Oh, that's beyond me. I only know Shrutis and Smritis. That's beyond me." So this is Vrindavan Bhajan. It's Rag Marg, Bhav Marg, spontaneous. It's based on love, charm, sweetness, and beauty. Shastras and Vidhi and Vishade and do's and don'ts and yamas and rites and rituals. Oh, hey Gopi. Narada Muni goes to one Gopi. Hey Sakhi, why do you love this boy Shyam? Oh, why I love Shyam? I love Shyam because I'm a Gopi. I'm a Braja Gopi. And I'm born in this village and he's born in my village. He's a boy of my village. So naturally I love him. He's a Gaon Gwal. He's one of the coward boys. I've never seen anybody more playful and funny in my whole life. So my heart naturally reaches out to him. And my mind is captivated by his every word and movement. That's why I love him. Acha. And what is your sadhana that you're doing to attain perfection in your program? I'm a Braja Gopi. I'm born in this village and he's born in my village. He's a boy of my village. So naturally I love him. He's a Gaon Gwal. He's one of the coward boys. I've never seen anybody more playful and funny in my whole life. So my heart naturally reaches out to him. And my mind is captivated by his every word and movement. That's why I love him. Acha. And what is your sadhana that you're doing to attain perfection in your program, your line of your dharma? Oh, my sadhana? See, I know something about painting. So I get some canvas and I get some paint. And then I close my eyes and I think about the last time I saw that boy, that Gopal, that Govinda. And I think, oh yeah, it was yesterday afternoon. And it was about 4 o'clock. And it was this Ulta Lila, what do they call it? Coming back from the cows? There's Gocharan, then coming back, there's another name. Uttara Gosta. Uttara Gosta Lila. He's coming from the Gosta. And I remember that. It wasn't too many hours ago. It was yesterday around 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Now it's about 9 in the morning. And I'm thinking, how did he look as he passed the palace? His hair sprinkled with the brownish gray dust of Varsana, and the cows mooing, and the boys walking slightly in front of him. He was lagging behind, kind of walking a little bit by himself. And nearby was Subal on one side and Madhamangal, but all the other coward boys are 100 meters or so away. And I'm seeing that, and I meditate, I start thinking deeply on that. Then I take my paints and my brush, and I try to, when I'm meditating on things, I start painting on the canvas. And after some hours, I get lost in that painting. I don't even know what time it is. And then my mother comes and says, "Hey, Beta, Prasad, Mahaprasad, you've been painting for 2 hours, 3 hours. Now it's time for lunch, Prasad. Please come." "Acha, Mom. Oh, Janani, I'm a little busy now. I just want to finish this one scene, and then I'll come. You please keep. Don't mind." "Okay, Beta, I'll keep everything for you." She goes back. Now, she paints and paints all the way until sunset. And then, because her mother ate lunch and fell asleep. And then, at sunset, she takes that painting, and then she gets an oil lamp. She has one oil lamp, and she puts it on a table next to the painting. And she gazes at the painting. This is what this Gopi is telling Narada Muni, her process of sadhana. So I gaze at that painting, and I look, and I start realizing how beautiful Shyam is, and how sweet he is. His face is so attractive. And it seems that his eyes are speaking to me from the painting. His eyes are speaking to me, and he's conveying so many sweet messages through his eyes in this painting that as I look at this painting, I start crying. I don't know how it happens to me. I feel a little embarrassed to tell you, but I start crying as I look at this painting, and then I start trembling, and then Narada Muni says, "Oh, Saki, stop. Okay, that's enough. I understand your process of sadhana. This is Braj Bhajan. This is Raganuga Bhajan. Where is the Smritis here? Where are the Shrutis here? There, O Vrindavan, O abode of Shri Radha's lover, you are my only shelter." Let's see our other translation. 1296. 1296. The Vedas spend a great net of words that lead to many paths. And all those paths lead to suffering. The saintly sages are not able to pacify me. I am burning in the fire of the hope. I am burning in the fire of the hope. Ashabandha Agni. Ashabandha Agni. I am burning in the fire of hope to taste the nectar of love for Sham. The Shrutigan, the followers of the Shruti, the Shrutigan and Smritigan, the followers of Shruti and Smriti. What are the Shrutis? The original Vedas, Atharva Veda, Yajurveda, Rig Veda, Samaveda. What are the Smritis? The Upanishads, the Puranas, Mahabharata, Itihas. This is Shrutis and Smritis. The followers of all these sacred texts, they oppose everything that I hold dear. O Vrindavan, O abode of love for Srimati Radharani, you are my only shelter. So we want to see the verse here. Ha Vrindaranya, Radharati Bhavan. Radharati Bhavan. Oh, that's beautiful. Someone said, "Oh, what should I call my house?" I'll call it Radharati Bhavan. They use these names, Bhavan this, Bhavan that. Radharati Bhavan. O abode of love for Srimati Radharani. So he's saying, O Vrindavan, Ha Vrindaranya, Ha Vrindavan, Radharati Bhavan. We're reading these verses in a very boring, pedantic fashion. But actually these are outpourings of his love. These are outpourings of his ecstasy. He's not writing a book. Each of these verses came as a volcanic explosion of his various ecstasies. He didn't sit down, okay, write this verse. Okay, what's verse 97? It's not like that. You have something called a diary. This is a diary of ecstasy. A diary of Vrindavan ecstasy. The diary of Vrindavan Das Thakur's ecstasy. Devotional ecstasies. That's the subtitle of this book. The diary of Vrindavan Das Thakur's devotional ecstasies. Braj Bhakti. Ecstasies in Braj Bhakti. So he didn't write verse 96. Okay, in verse 97. Now, paragraph 1. Now paragraph 2. It's not like that. You have a book called a diary. Some people keep a diary where they don't write every day. I have a diary. I write about 3 or 4 entries every year. That's a diary. Something happens to me in my life. I meet someone. I dream of Prabhupada or whatever. I write it down. Sometimes. Mostly I'm too lazy. So at the end of the year, I've collected 3 diary entries. You follow what I'm saying? So this is his diary of his ecstatic sporties. These are his sporties. He had sporties. Sometimes he writes about a pastime, which he saw in a sporty. He didn't write verse 1. Okay, sporty 1. Writes sporty 2. Sporty 3. Sporty is a divine dispensation. It's a gift of God, where he allows himself to be seen in such a uniquely personal, intimate, confidential way that you feel that it's so real you can reach out and touch the Lord, or grab Radharani's feet, embrace Radharani's feet. But it's a vision, a mental vision, deep in your consciousness and mind, in deep states of Dhruvana Smriti and Samadhi at the level of Bhav and Prema. Sportis come at Bhav and Prem when one is engaged in Dhruvana Smriti and Samadhi. There's Dharana, There's Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyanam, Juvana, Smriti, and Samadhi. These are the later steps of the yogic ladder. The Yama Niyama, Asan, etc. On to Pratyahara, Dharana, like this. So then he would have spurtis, and he would write, okay, basically it's not verse 96, 97, it's entry. You follow? He writes entry 96, what we call verse 96. Now he writes 97 maybe 5 days later. Maybe a month later. Do you understand? Yeah. Like 365 days go by in a year, and I write 5 entries. I wrote something, last time I wrote something was 4 months ago. So these individual verses are not written in a machine gun repetition or succession. He writes one now, and he goes into his bliss of samadhi, because you see, it works like that. He writes a verse, one verse is intimate, confidential Rahasya Leela of Radha and Krishna. The very next verse is about women's bodies or a bag of stool. Do you think that's a continuation of a spurti? Do you think that's a continuation of a meditation? No. It's a feeling or emotion or a thought he had days later or months later. This is the evolution of this book. For example, you may write, your diary may contain anything significant. So you have a spurti, if you're a Bhava Bhakta, Prima Bhakta, and you write it. It's entry number 1, which is calling it text, but let's understand more correctly. For organization, they call it text 1, chapter 1, all that. That's just the way he organized his diary. You have a spurti one day on Monday in January, and you write about it in a very poetic and beautiful way because he's such a scholar and pure devotee pundit. Then 2 months go by and you meet some brahmachari, some baba, whatever, and he has just fallen down with some woman. And he's your good friend. And it really touched your heart. And you preached to him and you put him back together and got him back in a devotional standing. But it touched your heart and you thought about, these women, it's so difficult for the sadhakas living in Vrindavan. It's so difficult.
भजभाकता वात्सला श्री गौर हरि भजभाकता वात्सला श्री गौर हरि श्री गौर हरि सारी মুকুতা শাখাদি ভাজি নলিতা কুষ্মাণ্ড ডালি ডালনা দুঃখ তুমি দধি মোচা ঘণ্টা ডালি ডালনা দুঃখ তুমি দধি মোচা ঘণ্টা মুদ্গা বড়া মাছ বড়া রটি কাগরি তান্না বড়া মাছ বড়া রটি কাগরি তান্না সস্কুলি পিষ্টক ক্ষীর পুলি পায়সানা সস্কুলি পিষ্টক ক্ষীর পুলি পায়সানা ভজবা কতবা চল শ্রী গৌর হরি 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 কর্পূরায় অমৃত কেলি রম্ভা ক্ষীর সার কর্পূরায় অমৃত কেলি রম্ভা ক্ষীর সার অমৃতর সালয়ামলা দ্বাদশ প্রকার লুচি চিনি সারে পুরি লাড্ডু রসাবলি লুচি চিনি সার পুরি লাড্ডু রসাবলি ভোজন করেন কৃষ্ণ হয় কুতূহলী ভোজন করেন কৃষ্ণ হয় কুতূহলী রাধিকার পাকায়ন বিবিধ ব্যঞ্জন রাধিকার পাকায়ন বিবিধ ব্যঞ্জন কৃষ্ণ করেন ভোজন পরমানন্দে কৃষ্ণ করেন ভোজন ছলে বলে লাড্ডু খায় শ্রীমধু মঙ্গল 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 বগল বাজায় আর জয় হরি বল 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 রাধিকা দিগানে হেরি নয়নের কোণে রাধিকা দিগানে হেরি নয়নের কোণে তৃপ্ত হয়ে খায় কৃষ্ণ যশোদা ভবনে তৃপ্ত হয়ে খায় কৃষ্ণ যশোদা ভবনে ভোজনান্তে প্রিয়ে কৃষ্ণ সুবাসিত বারি ভোজনান্তে প্রিয়ে কৃষ্ণ সুবাসিত বারি সবে মুখা প্রখালয় হয় সারে সারি সবে মুখ প্রখালয় হয় সারে সারি হস্তমুখ প্রখালিয়া যত সখা গানে হস্তমুখ প্রখালিয়া যত সখা গানে আনন্দে বিশ্রাম করে বলদেব সনে আনন্দে বিশ্রাম করে বলদেব সনে জাম্বুলর সালয়ানে তাম্বুল মশালা জাম্বুলর সালয়ানে তাম্বুল মশালা लाख सिकी पूछा चामरा डोला लाख सिकी पूछा चामरा डोला अपूर्व सचाए कृष्णा सुखे निद्रा जसोमती आज्ञा पे तो निष्ठायानीता जसोमती आज्ञा पे तो निष्ठायानीता श्री कृष्ण प्रसाद राधा गुंजे हाय प्रीता सखी गाना अवशेष पाए सखी गाना अवशेष पाए मने मने सुखे राधा कृष्ण गुण गाए मने मने सुखे राधा कृष्ण गुण गाए हरि लीला एक मात्र जाहर प्रमोद हरि लीला एक मात्र जाहर प्रमोद भोगारती गाए से भक्ति विनोद भजवा कथा वात्सल श्री गौर हरि भजवा कथा वात्सल श्री गौर हरि भजवा कथा वात्सल श्री गौर हरि
Working with defectiveness can be so incredibly transformative for your practice because
Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhaju Mana Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam Navakanjalochana Kanjamukhakar Kanjapad Kanjarunam Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhaju Mana Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Kandarpa Ganita Amita Chavi Navanila Nirada Sundaram Padavita Manahu Tadita Ruchi Shuchi Naumi Janaka Sutavaram Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhaju Mana Harana Bhava Bhayadarunam Shri Ram, Shri Ram. रघुनंद आनंद कंद कौशल चंद दशरथ नंदनम श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भजु मन हरण भव भयदारुणम श्री राम श्री शिरमुकुट कुंड कुण्डल तिलक चारु उदारु अङ्गविभूषणम् आजानुभुज शर चापधर सङ्ग्रामजित खर दूषणम् श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपालु भजुमन हरण भव भयदारुणम् श्रीराम इति वदति तुलसीदास शङ्कर शेष मुनिमनरञ्जनम् मम हृदय कञ्ज निवास कुरु कामादिकलदल गञ्जनम् श्रीरामचन्द्र कृपालु भजुमन हरण भव भयदारुणम् नवकञ्ज लोचन कञ्ज मुख कर कञ्ज पद कञ्जारुणम् श्रीराम 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 श्रीराम
Dreaming of your own premium coffee cafe? Now you can with Telogy Neo. Start your stylish cafe with just
भय प्रगट कृपाला दीन दयाला कौसल्या हितकारी हर्षित महातारे मुनि मनहारी अद्भुत रूप विचारी अद्भुत रूप विचारी भय प्रगट कृपाला दीन दयाला कौसल्या हितकारी हर्षित महातारी मुनि मनहारी अद्भुत रूप विचारी अद्भुत रूप विचारी श्यामा निज आयुध भुज चारी निज आयुध भुज चारी भूषण बनमाला नयन विशाला शोभा सिंधु खरारी शोभा सिंधु खरारी कहे दुई कर जोरी स्तुति तोरी केहि विधि करु मनंता माया गुण ज्ञानातीत अमाना वेद पुराण भनंता
कृष्ण.